I'm Brian Hagan and the foam rolling guy. And I just want to say again, this is the best opportunity during this time to really get out and take care of your body. Take this time to take care of your body so that when this mess is over, we can get out and enjoy our lives, right? And you can do that with a pain-free, flexible, mobile body, a body that can get out and do the things you want it to do. So last time we talked about the calf muscle, and I had Mr. Manny over here, and we talked that we had the feet were getting cramps because we hadn't used them before. We were using flip-flops or barefooted, and a lot of times people forget that the calf, the muscles in the lower leg connect to the foot. There were 12 muscles that we talked about that connect to the foot. So I want to carry that on a little bit more. The feet, when our feet are really, really tight, or when they cramp, or when they're painful, they pretty much take the joy right out of life. So it is so important for us to take our feet serious and to get them as healthy as we physically can. I mean, think about this. Think about any activity that you do in your life, and if your foot cramps up on you, or if your foot is painful, or if it's so tight it hurts, really the joy of that activity is going to be gone. So take care of your feet. And to do that, I'm going to give you some simple tools that you can start right away to take care of your feet. And I think most people have heard about a golf ball, using a golf ball on the bottom of your foot. And I think it's a great tool. In fact, when I was in school, in massage school, basically we stretched first. We were bend over to touch our feet, right? And see how far we could get before we could touch our toes. And then we rolled the golf ball on the bottom of our foot, one foot, and we did it again. And it was amazing how much further you could go on that one foot that you had rolled with a golf ball and the other foot you couldn't, that you didn't roll on. And what that showed us is that is so connected from the bottom of your foot all the way up your back. So it's important for us to loosen it up. So I really do believe in the golf ball. The problem is that the golf ball is so small, it's hard to roll around on the bottom of the foot, especially if you're on hardwood floors. It just rolls out from underneath you all the time. So it's a constant frustration, and it's very aggressive. I mean, so it can be quite painful for a lot of people who have extremely tight feet. And so what I did was I brought up two more tools. This one I just pulled out of our rock garden. It's a flat, smooth stone about the size of my palm, and I'm going to show you how to use this to work on the bottom of your foot. It actually works quite well, and it's not as aggressive. I mean, certainly it's a rock, but the surface is much more broad, so it's not going to get in there as deep, but it will work well. And the other thing is the myofascia balls. So these are called peanut balls. They're just hard rubber balls that are encased in rubber, and they work incredibly well. They work in a lot of other areas of the body, but they work the foot very well. So that's three tools that you can use to start loosening up the bottom of your feet. Before we get too much into this, if you have serious foot issues, or if you have bone density issues, I want you to check in with your doctor first before you start doing these exercises, just to be safe, okay? All right, so how do we use these tools? Well, I'm on a carpeted floor and I have a mat, and I just put the golf ball right down on the mat or the carpet itself. And it's nice to have a chair that you can use to sort of balance yourself. It's not really necessary, but it kind of makes me feel a little bit more secure. And I basically just put my foot right on the golf ball, and I think I divide my feet up. I start on the inside of my foot on that large arch, and I work that whole arch first. And I just roll on it. Now, I will tell you, it can be quite painful. So if this is too much for you, take a look at some of the other tools. Go outside and see if you can find a nice smooth stone. But I work that whole arch. Even I tilt my foot so I can get the sort of the inside side of that arch instead of the bottom of it. And I just work that whole area. And then I come back, and you can even go to the pad of your toe. So I'm on the pad of my big toe right now. I can work that a little bit. I have to take some of the weight off of that because that's a little tender. And then I go maybe about a quarter of an inch in, and I find another line, and I just work that one back toward the heel. Now you can tell most of my weight is on the non-working foot or leg because I don't want to put a whole lot of weight on here because this is really aggressive. I mean, I can feel this. But again, I go all the way to the heel, then I come back, and I start again about a quarter of an inch back in. And I'm just working my way down lines. until I get to the outside of the foot, that small arch on the outside of your foot, and I just work right down the same way, just like that, all the way to the heel. And then I can get up on the heel, I can work the heel a little bit, especially that line where it gets really tender. And but the ball just rolled right out of my foot there. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but that's the thing about golf balls, they're really difficult. Now, let's say that that's too much. We can do the stone. The beauty of the stone is I'm not rolling anything around it, I'm actually applying my weight to it. And I just rock my body, my foot into that stone. Gently, it's almost like a little bit to where it's like, whoo, and then I back off. So I can get the inside arch, that big arch on the inside of your foot. Just tilt my foot a little bit, work that in there. Just like that. It's more of a massage movement. It's sort of a gently putting my weight down on that rock and letting my foot form around it. I can do the same thing with my toes, the pads of my toes. That's a little tender. And I can even work the heel. Again, I'm not going to put as much weight on that heel because there's a bone there. We don't want to really smash down on that thing, but we want to work the heel. And then I can work the outside, that small arch on the outside of the foot. And now let's say we have the myofascial balls. It's the same thing. I can just find, again, work the whole foot. Now again, these are bigger, so you're going to cover more territory much quicker than a golf ball. And again, we're not going to spend a lot of time here. This is not something you do for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, because if you bruise your foot, you're not going to be able to walk, and then you're not going to want to do it anymore. So be gentle, be nice. Working it slowly. If it's really painful, just realize it might take several weeks before this stuff sort of starts working its way out, okay? Now, once I've done my feet, a good move here is to just come up on my toes and stretch it out. And that's where the chair comes in handy. And I just come up as high up on my toes as I possibly can. Now, a lot of times what I'll do, I'll come up on my toes and then I'll stick my rear end out and kind of drop down, so put some additional stretch on the toes, and then back up again, and then down. So I don't want to come down like this. I want to stick my rear end out and drop down. So I'm really working my toes, but I'm keeping my knees safe. And you feel that stretch in those toes. So that's a good stretch. And then finally, you can just go against a wall. Now, a lot of people think of this as a calf stretch, but I'm really pushing into my toes. So my focus is more on my toes, not on my calf. If I had my foot down, I would be more of a calf stretch. This, I got my toes out, and I'm just kind of stretching into that foot. So those are two good stretches. The golf ball, the rock, the smooth rock, and the myofascial balls. Those are all good for breaking stuff up. So the tools are to break up the scar tissue adhesions that have accumulated, that are tightening up your foot. The stretches to show the muscle this new length that we can have after we've broken all the stuff out of the foot. Okay? So again, be gentle, be nice, go slow with it. We really go into a great deal of detail on Fabulous Feeling Feet, which is our foot class that we made. And for the month of April, we're going to take 50% off. Again, for the whole entire month of April, because if your feet are healthy, you're going to be able to get out and do things when summer comes around. There's nothing worse than having tight, stiff, sore feet. It's terrible. So we're doing 50% off for the whole month of April. And as always, take a look at the Ultimate Foam Rolling Blueprint. That's foam rolling for the whole entire body. Every muscle that you can, that's in the body, the major muscle groups, we're going to cover in detail so that you truly understand how to get in there and to get your body to a more flexible, mobile body that you want. All right? All right. And the links will be up in the comments. So have a great day and take care.